Hello, everybody. My name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Fan View, where I normally welcome one of our correspondents onto the podcast to discuss current matters at their club. And it's a big week for Chelsea. Let me introduce you to Gary Mantle. How are you, Gary?
I'm good, thank you, mate. And I've got nothing smart to say. I'm going to start by saying congratulations.
Yeah, end of podcast. That would be like great, wouldn't it? Does that I don't want to talk about Tottenham, I want to focus on your team. But does that bring any extra pressure for this week on Chelsea because of the rivalry in any way? Just in the sense that you're so accustomed to winning trophies of a football club, and it obviously the Champions League victory was the last one, it was 4 years ago. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's not normal
yeah.
for Chelsea to go 4 seasons without a trophy. Does that particularly for next Wednesday, does that bring extra pressure or not?
I don't think the Tottenham. I think it's more just ourselves. Because even that one that we won, around that we've lost quite a lot of other cup finals. Like what we need to get over the line and actually win a trophy at some point. We lost both of the ones in 22 to Liverpool. We lost to Liverpool again in 24. We lost the FA Cup in 21. We lost the FA Cup in 20. It's like it goes on and on and on. Like we need to get one over the line. I don't personally, I don't think the Tottenham thing has made a difference to it at all.
It might do a little bit for the, I don't mean for the club. I just mean obviously in terms of the fan
For the
base a little
fans,
bit.
yeah, there is going to be an element of that. Someone will bring that up, yeah. If we don't win, oh, even Tottenham have won a trophy this year and all of that. But
Is there
it
anything
shouldn't
in that in terms
really.
of failures to get over the line? Because like I said, we have become it's been a long held mantra that Chelsea change managers regularly and they still win trophies. It's become kind of a you were kind of associated as the epitome of a club that no matter what is going to find a way to win stuff. But it has been a while. Is it beginning
Yeah.
to play in the sense you have lost a lot of finals over the last 5 years or so?
Yeah, it is. Because also, obviously, there's the change of ownership, and this ownership, we haven't won anything. Now, if you want to be technical, I suppose what I should have said was that the last trophy we won was the Club World Cup, but I don't really count it personally. But we won that in
Claim it.
2022. I mean, yeah. So if you want to, then that's the last time we won one. We then went on to lose two other cup finals that year. Um, so, but this ownership, it would be huge. Something that they can say we've done something. We've got something to show what we've
How
done.
big is qualifying for the Champions League? Obviously, there's a big game on Sunday. First and foremost, you know if you win at Nottingham Forest, then you're obviously going to finish in the top five and qualify for the Champions League. How important is it for the club? And I guess for people on the outside, particularly reflecting on last year and the way you finished strongly under Maurizio Pochettino and then still parted ways, is there a danger of that by association to Champions League qualification?
No. So from what I've heard, they've actually said that he's not going to get judged this summer. And part of that is because of the Club World Cup that we've got this summer. Um, they said they're viewing it as like a long, and by the time that finishes, it's only like 4 weeks until the next season starts. But also, they'd always see Maresca as like a more longer term manager than Pochettino. That's why he got a longer contract. And the season just hasn't been that bad. We've been at the top end of the table for most of the season. So it's not like if we were sitting here now in 10th, there'd probably be a review. It's easy to say when we've actually done all right. Yeah, we're not going to because ultimately we're going to finish somewhere between, well, probably fifth and seventh, possibly fourth and seventh. But it's it's about where I expect us to finish.
No, I know,
Um,
and you kind of was said in pre-season you didn't think you'd do it really. Is that fair to
no,
reflect
I
on?
said I said our limit I thought was sixth. I couldn't see how we could get higher than sixth. Now, I didn't quite think you'd have two teams doing what United and Spurs have done this season. I thought maybe one of them, and that's why I thought, well, I don't know how we get above a lot of the other teams. But yeah, so from my personal point of view, I can't say that I'm disappointed. I'm not disappointed. Like that was where my expectations were. So for
But
me, if we do qualify for the Champions League now, it's essentially it's like a bonus. I do now that we've been there all season, that's
yeah,
what puts the pressure on. If we were coming from behind, like now, like for Villa, if they do it now, they're going to go, that's brilliant because they were nowhere near until they made all their loan signings in January, and that like really helped them rotate a lot more. That really sorted out their league form. We're the opposite, and you don't want to be that team that falls out of it. And well,
no,
at least
because I
one of us is
think
going to be, aren't we?
you will remember it might be easy for many other neutrals to forget, but sort of mid-December. you were in the race for the
Yeah,
title and had this brilliant run of fixtures, which didn't go well. So
no,
we were looking at you sort of early December going, they're top three. So I understand what you're saying, but the narrative and the expectations must have then shifted. Sure, I mean, start of December, you're not going, I'd have taken sixth, right?
no, that's right. They do shift. They do change as the season as it progresses, and there's nothing that's particularly happened that means that we should have thought, "Oh, it's all right to not finish there." It's not like we've had a like anything horrendous happen injury wise or anything like this. Like we should still have been able to go from that position to finishing in the top five. Um, so yeah, there is that pressure mainly on the manager. Um, as for the club as a whole, the chances are we're probably going to be in the Europa League. We don't want to be in the Conference League again. Done that once. Like win it, forget about it.
But that can only happen if this week is a disaster, right?
If we lose both games,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how
Then
it
then
happens.
then you, that's probably is where you'd end up. From
So we
from a
have to lose to Forest, and Villa would then have to win for us to come seventh.
yeah,
But even if we draw against Forest, we're finishing above Forest.
yeah. How important is it for the club from a financial viewpoint to be in the Champions League? Is it important at this stage or not? Because you know people on the outside will talk about PSR and
Yeah.
I know certainly how much you make in terms of player sales, which I think many people forget.
Well, we are going to get the money from the Club World Cup, which sort of goes some way. But I don't know if they budgeted for that in addition to also budgeting for Champions League football. And what Maresca has said is that they'd said they wanted to be back in the Champions League within 2 years, which would mean next season that we have to qualify. Whether they did their budgets properly based on that, I don't know. I mean, the fact is at the moment, we've managed to stay within PSR. Now, whether you agree with the way that we've done it or not, that is something different.
We're the most
But
profitable team on record, weren't you, this calendar year in the Premier
probably,
League?
I don't know.
Somehow
Yeah.
managed to turn a 120 million loss into 80 million profit, isn't it, Gary? Do you want to remind everyone how you've done that?
Well,
No.
yeah, we sold the women's team. Yeah, we sold the women's team. And then what we've done, what has now happened with the women's team is there's an investor, an American investor, who I have no idea whether he knows our already owners that are American, but he's paid 20 million for 10% of the team that we sold for 200 million. Well, that would value the team at 200 million. That would say
Clever,
that
that, isn't it?
we were correct. I know. It's funny how it all works out. I don't know who knows who. Um, but anyway, my favourite tennis player is definitely Serena Williams, always has been, and hope to see her at the bridge for the Champions League games next season.
Duly noted. I actually would like to praise Chelsea for their work in managing to work around these rules and loopholes. A lot of people will hate it. I mean, does that bother you? I mean, essentially,
Not top.
there's nothing in rules to stop it. So, but you know what people
And
think, right?
yeah, but so what? I don't care how we do it. If we start getting it wrong and getting points deductions, then I'm going to care. But that'll be a negative against Chelsea. The people getting upset, it's like it's fine. People like these are definitely loopholes, but there's other things that have just become accepted that are clearly loopholes as well. Like when you do this, oh, we've got this player, he's on loan for 2 years, and then there's an obligation to buy him. It's like so you've bought him and you're just trying to move it on for PSR. It's like that's a loophole. You've bought a player, but you haven't paid for the player. That is a loophole. It's just a far more accepted loophole because everybody does it. And the the way that most clubs are now, well, ones that are getting a new stadium are now looking at Tottenham and like what Tottenham are doing and going, well, you're making loads of money from stuff that isn't to do with football, but it is your stadium. It's like, well, does that count as a loophole or not as a loophole? Or does it count as like a really clever use of the stadium? I think it counts as a really clever use of the stadium, but the fact is, it's not the football club itself that's making the money, is it? It's not coming through player sales. It's not like Beyonce didn't come through the Tottenham youth system, did she? It's like
And you know
this
that
is
because
yeah, exactly. No, like this, it's just the way we're just doing it in a very extreme way, and it's
yes.
I find it funny.
Just on the stadium, while you mention it, is there any update on Stamford Bridge? What
No,
is the latest? I mean, I read some report like 2040, like expect something to happen and stuff. Well, where is it at?
the previous plans that they'd come up with, I think they've realised they can't do that. It's not viable. So at the moment, there is no plan. There's a will to sort the stadium out. it would need pitch owners to accept it. Now, depending on what they want to do, that would be if they want to move. If they want to stay at Stamford Bridge, that's fine, but it's really difficult to redevelop Stamford Bridge. We'd have to probably play somewhere else, and then there's the issue there. It doesn't sound like we're going to move to Earls Court. That was the other proposition. I think ultimately, if they'd put together a proposal with a big stadium at Earls Court, and people would have accepted it. But then, even then, there's a lot of people that just want to hold on to Stamford Bridge, even though it's changed beyond recognition since a lot of them started going in the first place.
You mentioned the pitch owners. Could you just explain that to people? It's not as straightforward as the club just deciding to build a new stadium, right?
That's right. So we're quite unique. Ken Bates set this up, where the Chelsea pitch owners, which anybody can be a Chelsea pitch owner. You could be a Chelsea pitch owner if you wanted to be, if you wanted to pay for a Chelsea pitch owner share, and then you
How
would have a
much?
say. 100 and something, right? For one share, that'll get you one vote. Um, I think it's 120 these days. So then, if Chelsea want to move, the pitch owners have to give them sign over the use of the Chelsea Football Club name. There's only two things they can do: is stay where they are, or move and change the name. Well, the third thing is move and Chelsea accept it. So Roman Abramovich tried this once. He tried to buy out the pitch owner and said, "Look, I'll move us. Just sign over your shares." And we had a vote. This was in 2012 or 2013, and the pitch owner said no. Bearing in mind that Roman Abramovich walks on water around Stamford Bridge, still does. They said no to Roman Abramovich. The reason was he didn't have an actual proposal for where he was going to move us. He just said, "Do this, and I'll sort us out like a lovely new stadium." Well, that could be anywhere. That could be in Kingston upon Thames. That could be in Kingston upon Hull. We don't know. That's what they were scared of. They don't want to go to anywhere other than the sort of Chelsea area. So if they decide they want to move to Earls Court, the pitch owners have to approve it. If they decide they want to redevelop Stamford Bridge, they can do that. That's fine. I assume they could move temporarily without approval from the pitch owners. And even if they did, I think people are going to say yes anyway. But it is ultimately up to the fans whether Chelsea stay at Stamford Bridge or leave Stamford Bridge.
And the complications around just, I don't know, reconstruction of Stamford Bridge, like say Tottenham went to Wembley for a couple of years, is also not as straightforward, right?
Yeah, because it's actually just it's just really difficult to reconstruct Stamford Bridge. It's really boxed in by a lot of buildings that you're not allowed to knock down, or it's unfeasible to knock down. There's train lines running behind two of the stands. It's just a really awkward like site basically. And they have bought additional land, but as far as I can tell at the moment, there's no current proposal. Something will happen at some point, maybe soon. Todd Bowley was in the week speaking again about how they know that Chelsea need to have a much bigger stadium. I think he said 65,000, something like that.
Well, it's clear, isn't
Um,
it, that the revenue generator for Chelsea is not through that. It has to be through other means first and foremost. I mean, it probably is a bit galling. You look at even what West Ham are getting in the ground. I
mm,
think we can't do that. It's not
yeah,
right, is it?
but like, there's a lot of Chelsea supporters that will say, "Yeah, but this is our stadium,"
I
and
get
I'll
that.
say,
Home's home, but
"It's
ultimately you have to
yeah,
change with the times, as Everton are doing as well, to increase that
yeah,
revenue.
yeah, exactly. That's it." And it's like even Everton are doing it. No disrespect to Everton, but even Everton are doing it. So yeah, at
Ouch.
some point you have to accept it.
How confident are you going into Sunday in this race for fifth?
Not confident.
Go on.
Um, well, you told me I'm not allowed to say it's because Anthony Taylor's the ref, so I won't mention it's just because Anthony Taylor's the ref.
Right, you Chelsea
Uh,
lot have got to get over this. He's like one defeat in 20 or something, which was the opening day of the season against Manchester City. Like every time he refs you, you tend to win. You've got
not
to
in
get
cup
over
finals,
this.
and this
You've
is like a
no,
cup final.
no, this
He's
is
refed
not.
us in
You've
two
got
cup
to get over
finals.
this.
We don't
Your
have to.
record with him as referee is like better than any other referee, basically. Come on.
Doesn't matter. It's just fun. We don't- we don't-
That's not the reason,
No,
though, is it?
but it's not. No, our away form has been abysmal. So as we were looking into this, and I'm pretty sure that it's true that we are the lowest scorers away from home in 2025. I know that we've only scored 5 goals, and I know that Leicester have scored more. So, and we know that Forest have got one of the best defenses. So, how we're going to go there and win, I don't know. Now, I do think that we'll probably get an early chance because we quite often create an early chance. If we can score that, it changes the whole game because then suddenly Forest have got to do something they're not used to doing. I mean, in reality, it's Forest have got to do something anyway. But what Forest are best at doing: soak up pressure, hit you on the break, get a goal up somewhere midway through the first half, and then
You're one of the best set up teams, I would say, in terms of countering against the counter. Your rest defense,
yeah,
if you will. You're one of the best at that.
that is part of the sort of philosophy behind how we play, I think. And sometimes, yeah, we it's like we you're trying to lure a team into doing that so that you can then counter them. And yeah, I can see that. But I don't know that we'll have what we need to break down Forest. Certainly, if Forest go ahead, then yeah, I can't see us. Definitely can't see us scoring twice against them if they go ahead.
I keep saying every week when, oh, what do you think for predictions and stuff? I keep saying every week Chelsea games feel like they'll be low scoring to me.
Yeah, yeah. How many games recently have we won 1-0 at home? Tottenham, Everton, Man United. This is normal for us
Leicester.
now. Like Leicester, yeah, exactly. And then the games away from home, Arsenal was 1-0, Brentford was 0-0. Like, yeah, they are low scoring games generally.
So first goal particularly important this weekend then.
Exactly. That's it.
You've also said to us in the past that the team doesn't really function without Nicholas Jackson, who's obviously
mm,
going to remain suspended. How important is that?
it could. I was maybe this is just me because I'm generally quite an optimistic Chelsea fan. I could see how this might work in our favour.
Go on.
Might do. So I think that Neto is going to start up front because when Maresca spoke before the Man United game, he said against the three he prefers to use like a nine, and then against the four he's happy to use what he called a fake nine,
Yeah.
what we would call a false nine. Tyreek George is, although he is traditionally a winger, he's taller than Neto. He tries to be a bit more physical, but he's quite young. Like Harry Maguire was literally bullying him, literally bullying him. He was holding on to him off the ball so that he couldn't move. He couldn't get out of his grasp, but the play had gone. Harry Maguire's just going, "What have you got? You're a kid," kind of thing. He's not a proper nine, but he's a bit more of a nine, whereas Neto isn't. So I feel like Neto's more likely to start, and I think that the Forest centre backs would much prefer to play against a more physical nine because
Yeah, fair.
that's what they're like. They've I don't know if they're top, but they're somewhere near the top for like headed clearances. I heard this just by chance on like a podcast earlier on. Well, I assume if Pedro Neto's playing up front, we're not going to be putting crosses into the box. That's what they want to be defending. That's not what they're going to be defending. So I can see how maybe that will actually work in our favour on this occasion. Maybe that's just me being really optimistic. But,
Expecting
and
any
maybe
fa
I'm wrong. And maybe Tyreek George will start and
are you
you don't know what
expecting
you're
any
talking about.
favours from Manchester United? Because obviously, if they do pull one out the bag for you here, a draw is okay, right?
That's right. I'm not expecting any favours from Manchester United. If I had to choose, like I didn't want Tottenham to win Wednesday night, but if I had to choose, I'd much rather United got a result against Villa than against Tottenham, which
Yeah, of
is
course, because
ultimately the
it's for your own
question.
club, of course. Yeah,
Exactly. Do I
yeah,
love Chelsea more than I hate Tottenham?
of course.
Obviously, yes, I do. So, and maybe, who knows? Who knows how Manchester United are going to react? I don't think there's goals in the Man United squad, but I'm hoping that they go, right, we've had an abysmal season. Let's just show the fans something before we go. Like, if if United were away at Villa, I'd be telling you, I'd I'd even be worried about us finishing above them on goal difference if United were away at Villa. But
You're massively clear of Villa on goal difference, aren't you?
it's like 13 goals or something like that. I don't know what it is, but yeah. But at Old Trafford, no, yeah, it could happen. I don't think it's a sheer. I think Newcastle, we can say, are definitely going to beat Everton. Everton's game was last week. To them, like it wouldn't surprise me if they had to call a couple back from the airport and go, guys, we've still got another match to play. Like that was their final game of the
Mm.
season, as far as they're concerned. So we can write that one off. Man City, are generally going to get it done, but I don't think that really affects
Not
us
really,
anyway,
because you've
does
got
it?
to win anyways.
Are we 2 points behind Man City? I think
Yeah,
maybe I
you'd
can't
have to
remember.
win
Yeah,
to go above
so it
them,
doesn't
so
matter.
that's
So we have to
irrelevant.
win, and if we win, we're in anyway. So yeah, that doesn't matter. So it's about the Villa game, and yeah, it's simple, isn't it? We need to go and win. It
It's
might
Rich.
be one of those where come the end of the game, you're going, actually, a draw will do. But
Yeah, situational. Yeah, it could be.
going
Do you
into the game, you have to win
do you think Reece James will start?
against Forest. No,
Yeah. Why?
I don't, because Lavia can't play on Wednesday because he's not in the Conference League squad.
So you think that's interesting that my perception on it would have been that you go with whatever he believes is full strength on Sunday and doesn't think about Wednesday in that moment. But you're
That's what
saying by
everyone said,
consequence,
isn't it?
you're saying by
Um,
consequence because Lavia can't play on Wednesday, it will definitely start Sunday.
I can't. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Lavia didn't start Sunday. Now, whether Reece James and Lavia start, but then who are you going to take out of the side?
Well, you could
Um,
go, you could go with a route, I guess, of playing like Fernandez as a left 10, Palmer as a right 10, or vice versa, and just leave Neto and Madueke wide.
yeah. Um,
Allows you to press in like a 4-2-4 off when you haven't got it, which a lot of teams want to do. So you're naturally already there.
well, everyone always says that they take one game at a time, don't they? But I don't think they do. Um, he knows that we've got a game Sunday and a game on Wednesday. So I don't know. If Reece is starting, I wouldn't be disappointed. And he has played 2 games in a week at one stage. I think he only played 45 in the second one, to be fair. But uh, I think it's a good enough reason. He's going to play Caicedo and Fernandez. Just no question about that. So then it comes down to, does he play the other two? Does he just play one of them? I think Reece James won't start, personally.
I'm gonna ask you a shitty question, but I'm going to rephrase it a little bit better, I think. Is there an importance to you as a fan what you'd rather in terms of finishing fifth or winning the trophy next Wednesday? There must be something inwardly in you, and of course you can have both. There must be something in you that has a I'd want that more. We've got to be in the Champions League, or we've got to win that trophy because it kind of completes the set, isn't it? You'd be the only team that's won every single one. Is there something that's more important to you?
For me, it's winning the trophy. Um, it is because of completing the set, but it is also the mentality thing. The club needs to start winning trophies again. We've lost so many finals now. We can't. Just don't want to lose another final. Johnny Pringle's spoken about it. He says that even when Chelsea were crap under Abramovich, we'd still just win trophies. And like he just looked at the club as like that club just always wins.
We said, yeah.
And yeah, and that's what City have been. And now they're in danger of they're not going to. I'm sure they'll come back next season and win stuff, but they're starting to go the other way now. It's like they lost a final last year. They've lost another final this year. And you don't want to go too far down that route. And as I say, for our ownership, it'd be big as well. So and I know there's always the debate trophies versus Champions League and all of that. Now, whether we're ready to compete in the Champions League as well, I don't know.
You
But
said
for me, yeah, I'd go Conference League.
you said earlier that essentially from your pre-season thoughts, qualifying for the Champions League this year wouldn't have been a failure if you didn't achieve it. And I get that obviously the way the season started in the first half, expectations shifted a little bit. But you and I probably could have arranged this podcast 9 months ago in preparation for this Conference League final because we kind of knew that you had to at least hit this point. Is not winning that trophy a failure? And that's ridiculous because it's a cup competition. But is it?
Um, it is, I think. Now, it's not like out. It's not outrageous to not win the trophy. It's a final. Betis aren't a bad team. I don't think they're a great team either. But it's not disgraceful to go and lose in a final to a team from La Liga. I mean, most clubs that play against a team from La Liga do lose in the final, as we well know.
I'm sure
Or
you
against
know
them.
last Spanish team to lose a cup final that wasn't against Spanish opposition.
You said this. Was it Alaves against
It's
Liverpool?
Alaves against Liverpool in 2001. 23 finals. The only Spanish teams that have lost finals, and that includes the international team in major tournaments, have lost to other Spanish teams.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like disgraceful to go and not win it. Now, if we hadn't made the final, especially the way that the draw opened up, that would
Yeah.
be embarrassing. Like it's,
We've ended up
any
playing a reserve
competition,
team in a semi-final second leg, Gary.
look, any competition where you get to play a Scandinavian team in the semi-final is a bit of a joke, really, isn't it?
Did you have to beat the team third in Bundesliga in the quarterfinal?
Uh, no, because
I'm,
Heidenheim, I
I'm
think,
one
got
of the
relegated
biggest
this
football
season, and
clubs in
that's
the
the
world in
German
the
team that we
final.
had to play.
No.
No, it's funny though because when we won the Europa League in 2019, we had a pretty similar journey. We played Frankfurt, we played Malmö, and then we played Arsenal in the final.
Who?
Nobody complained then, did they? But yeah, exactly.
No,
Ended
nobody
4-1.
complained. Everyone just said, "Well done." I actually supported you that night, as you might have noticed, Gary.
Of course you did. Yeah, exactly. That's it. This is like people are going to have to realize that is what the Europa League was a bit like anyway, and it is always going to be like that now. Now that there's no drop-ins from the Champions League, this is how the competition is going to be, and this is how the Conference League is going to be. So
But this
people can
Conference
take the
League,
piss,
particularly,
whatever.
I mean, for example, if let's say Brighton get in, which you're obviously hoping it's not, but let's say it's Forest, right? Let's say
I don't
Forest
care if
finish
it's.
seventh and they get in.
Oh
Forest,
yeah,
Forest
from
will
that
be one of the
perspective.
favourites to win it, right? This is the point.
Uh, they will, but it's something that teams have got to adapt to now. Is you are going to need massive squads if you're playing in Europe because it's who has really this season managed to juggle playing in Europe and putting together a good league campaign? Because there's only two really, there's two maybe three, and we're one of them, and that's a massive caveat because our European thing does not fucking matter. Aston Villa have done all right, but the reason they've done all right is because in January they realised what the problem was and they brought in a few loan players to bolster the squad. And the other ones that did quite well was Liverpool, who unfortunately had to play PSG
Hmm.
straight away. So you don't know how they would have done, but then you look in hindsight and you go, could they have done with resting a couple more players at the weekend against Southampton so they could have been a bit fresher against
Yeah,
PSG?
the only thing I'd say on Liverpool is, like, obviously, if they win that shootout against PSG, they might be sitting here now as league champions and preparing for a Champions League final, but we'd never know,
Yeah,
really.
exactly. So you'd say that that's the maybe three, but otherwise nobody's really managed to juggle it. And look at like how much advantage Newcastle have taken of what everybody else has been doing because they've just a free run at just going for the league. So it isn't. Arsenal will tell you about all their injuries. It's like, well, fine. You need to sort that out then. You need to go and boost the squad because you're going to get that many games again next season. And you can say
Is there,
injuries, you're going to get injuries.
with the Conference League, I mean, particularly in the group stage, I mean, you didn't even name Cole Palmer in the squad, for example. You
Mm.
really have gone second string through the majority of the competition. Do you think there'll be any reward for anyone in the final in terms of the lineup? I.e.,
Well, there's
someone that's
one.
played all the way in the Conference League, like is Jorgensen going to play in goal, for
He
example?
said that. So
Okay.
bizarrely, Maresca's done his pre-conference league final press
Yeah.
conference. He did it on Tuesday.
We had to do all ours last week
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. 8 days before the final, before he's done his pre-Forest conference. So
Yeah.
he said Jorgensen's going to play. So that's the only one they'd said.
So
So
Sanchez
obviously
owners have got to
Sanchez.
start this weekend, have they?
Yeah, I mean, that was never good to the question. The question was, is Sanchez going to play in the final really as well? And he's not. Um, but other than that, no, he's going to go. He'll go strong. I mean, we have played the first team because of Tottenham. Our legs switched round, and we played the away legs first, and we were playing a stronger team away from home, get the job done, and then played a weaker team at home. So when we went to Legia Warsaw, we played quite a strong team. Um, like Palmer was playing, for example. So
So you're thanking Tottenham
yeah,
as well here, essentially.
I wouldn't go that far, but no. But what I mean is that we because actually no, it had yeah. Who knows? I don't know how we'd have done it if that hadn't been the situation. But the point is, we have played these players in the Conference League now in the
Yes.
knockout phases. So no, we are going to play our strongest available team against Betis, which doesn't include Romeo Lavia because he can't play.
Okay. Prediction for Sunday, Matt.
Uh, I think the most likely thing is a draw. I just don't. We're quite
It's
hyped for
going to be very
scoreboards as
interesting at
well.
the end of the game if it is level and
Yeah,
Villa are winning because one of you's got to win.
and that's yeah, exactly, and that's probably what will change it. I think it will likely be quite tight coming towards the end. I mean, actually, I think if either side is likely to be a couple of goals up, it's more likely to be Forest, personally.
Why'd you say that?
You don't because they're at home. They'll have like fans behind them. They'll be in a well, we might as well go for it kind of mood. They've got nothing to lose, really, have they? If they come seventh, they've still had
No,
a good
no, and
season.
I know it's absolutely right to keep referencing the age profile of your squad is young and experienced. The club is experienced in this moment, and you do have within that people like Enzo Fernandez and Reece
Yeah,
James, etc., have played in these huge games.
yeah. Um, we do. Now, yeah, I don't know. I can't see us just turning up at Forest and like going 2-0 up, for example. Yeah,
Just
just
not the done
doesn't
thing, no.
sound right. Well, it's not how we've done things, is it? I don't know when we last went 2-0 up in a game. Well, we were 2 goals up against Liverpool because we scored a penalty in the 95th minute. And when was the last time prior to that we were 2 goals up? That
So
wasn't in a Conference League game.
we kind of in agreement. We're not expecting loads of goals in the game. What would you say for
Mm.
fantasy owners who own Cole Palmer then at the moment, looking at Bukayo Saka at a similar price? Does it move or stick with him?
I mean, the worry with Saka is he definitely going to play? Is he definitely going to play like 90? He doesn't have to, does he?
Legs are
Do
attached
they?
though, aren't they? So
Yeah, but you pull him out of that, then you pull him out of England and go and enjoy your summer.
yeah, it's a
Don't,
theory.
yeah. Um, but of the two, yeah, Saka's a much. If they were
Well, it
both going to
doesn't have to
play,
be Saka. Even like a Jared Bowen as a different example. Would you move it?
if I don't think, yeah, to be honest, actually, yeah, I probably would. I was just thinking, would I prioritize moving it? Yeah, probably. Like Palmer's form hasn't been there. He's against a good defense. I'd be, I'd probably be looking to move it.
I think you'll win it, Gary. I think you'll win 1-0. I think it will be tight, but I think you'll get the important goal, and I think you'll win the game. Um, and I think it might end up being relatively stress free if you go towards the end, because think of it from a Forest perspective, they'll need 2 goals.
Well, that's what I was thinking. If it was 1-0, as you get beyond 85 to 90, it's like, well, it's not gonna. No, I'm not gonna say that. You know what I was gonna say. I've watched too many games where that happens.
Now go on, set.
No, I'm not. Not after like we don't want our Aguero moment, do we, against us? So no, but yeah, you like to think that the atmosphere's gone a bit flat, or they're just like maybe they're leaving a few gaps, and that's probably the kind of thing that we'd be hopefully that we'd be good at exploiting. I
And I
don't know.
take it you think you'll win Wednesday?
No, it doesn't mean
No,
that. Well, it depends what you mean. I don't think. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to win Wednesday.
no, but you're confident.
I'm not confident.
No, to why?
No. So I think that the two teams that we've struggled most against this season are Man City and Ipswich. Sounds strange, but
Yes.
City's obviously City. But I don't know if you remember when we played away at City, and it's like we went 1-0 up quite early on, and then that was when they were in their sort of bad period, and it's like you felt like they were there to be got at, and we didn't get at them. We
Yeah.
seemed like we played a lot within ourselves. It's like we could have done more there. Now, obviously, Ipswich, we've picked up 1 point against Ipswich. We lost at Ipswich and we drew at home. So that's bad. And the reason that I reference them is that Enzo Maresca's never beaten Kieran McKenna. He played him twice last season, didn't win either of those games. Pep Guardiola was obviously Enzo was one of Pep's assistants at one point. So these are the two managers in the Premier League that he knows the most, and they're the two games that we've shown essentially the most respect to the opposition. Pellegrini, Enzo's described him as like a dad. Like he used to play under him, and he's also been his assistant at West Ham. So this is another manager that he knows really well, and in fact, he knows him better than the other two. So I think he's going to show him a lot of respect, and I don't think we're going to play as well as we can. I think we will play quite within ourselves. It feels like he's almost going to be a little bit more scared of how he can be hurt by the opposition manager than what he can do to hurt the opposition. So from that perspective, I'm quite concerned.
You at Forest on Sunday?
Personally,
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Are you in
I
Poland
don't have
next
a
week?
ticket yet, but I am in Poland next week. Yeah. Yeah, we could have done this pre-Conference League final podcast when I booked my hotel back in August. Although that one got cancelled, so I booked 3 in January, and one of them got cancelled, but it's fine.
I can confirm that Gary booked Poland an extremely long time ago because obviously as a Chelsea fan, he is completely arrogant. No, it's because he's smart and he's sensible and it's the done thing that's got to be done, hasn't it, Gary?
That's it. Like,
If you've
yeah,
got like free
and
cancellation and stuff, he's got to be done.
exactly that. Yeah, so I did, and if we weren't there, I would have cancelled it.
And
But we are.
I'll be looking at hotels in Budapest over the next 2 nights before Gary gets the chance on Sunday night if it goes well for his team. because Champions League finals in Budapest next year, mate.
Oh, is it? I was
Um,
going to ask. Yeah.
if you're in Europa League, you can look at Turkey. Conference League, I'd have to double check. I can't remember, mate. Gary,
Well, we can.
very
Yeah.
best of luck for Sunday and Wednesday, mate. Anything you want to plug before we finish?
Um, no, not personally. I'll tell you who I'd like to plug because I know Tottenham have already had a really good week. I'm going to plug Tom Glover, who is FPL Face Off, and his essentially his stand-up comedy career. And I know that he's going on tour at some point this year, but I've started following him on Facebook. I like the videos that he does. So I'm old, that's why I use Facebook. But go and find him on the socials and follow him and enjoy his
He's a
videos like that.
funny, funny guy. I met that guy drunk in Milan, and he was drunk. Top man. Shout out Tom if you're watching, but he probably won't be, Gary, because Chelsea lad. So I mean, it's Tottenham lad, and you're Chelsea, so he won't be here,
There
mate.
you go. I try to be nice to you guys and he won't even be watching.
It is much appreciated, and I'd like to thank myself for not mentioning too much on this podcast because I'm still flying high as a kite. Gary, good luck Sunday and particularly on your travels Wednesday. Stay safe out there, buddy. Deadline stream tomorrow for those of you on YouTube, 1:30 p.m. UK time. Just leaves me to say thanks, Gary. Be nice to each other, everyone. Cue music, please, man child.